we go to Washington.
Yeah.
Another unelected black robe who thinks they have more power than the president and Congress once again sticks their nose in where they don't belong.
Yes, of course.
In blocking a provision of the big beautiful bill.
Come on, man.
To defund the death cult that is Planned Parenthood.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I'm Jasper Gonzo on this. Last time I heard, wasn't Congress in charge of the purse strings?
Yes! Yes!
But maybe that's just me.
It is what it is.
And it's what's next. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily dose, common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Wednesday. Well, it was only a matter of time before another unelected black robe judge decided to stick their nose in where they don't belong. This time, it's in the big beautiful bill, and there's a provision in it to defund the death cult that is Planned Parenthood. Well, this judge took it upon himself to, or herself, shall I say, yeah, you know what? I'm in favor of infanticide, so I'm going to block it. Well, I hope Trump says, yeah, we're going to do it anyway. And here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. Federal judge blocks provision of big beautiful bill defunding Planned Parenthood. Yes, that's her. A federal judge on Monday temporarily halted a provision in President Donald Trump's big beautiful bill blocking taxpayer dollars from going to Planned Parenthood through Medicaid. U.S. District Judge Indira Talwani, who was appointed by President Barack Obama, swiftly issued a temporary restraining order on the same day Planned Parenthood filed its lawsuit, blocking the provision for 14 days and ordering the Department of Health and Human Services to take all steps necessary to ensure that Medicaid funding continues to be dispersed to Planned Parenthood. Not if Trump has anything to do about it, anything to say about it as well. Planned Parenthood alleges that it's in the lawsuit that Congress targeted Planned Parenthood out of other abortion providers and how it wrote the provision. Really? You're the biggest death cult provider in the country. Why would they not go after you? Which bars Medicaid funding for 1 year. Should have been more. While the provision does not explicitly name Planned Parenthood, the organization is the only abortion provider that falls under the restrictions outlined in the bill. Planned Parenthood also argued that having its Medicaid funding cut off would have devastating effects on the organization. Of course it is. It's your meat and potatoes, buddy. Planned Parenthood has claimed that nearly 200 of its clinics are becoming at risk of closure because of the funding measure. Quote, many of Planned Parenthood members will be required to be laying off staff or curtailing services with serious adverse consequences, and many patients served at those centers even if they do not use Medicaid to access services. Worse still, members may be forced to shutter a substantial number of their health centers nationwide, many of which are in rural and underserved areas with alternative providers, the lawsuit reads. So basically you're saying these death cult providers that are in the ghettos, that would be a problem, and Planned Parenthood just can't have none of it. Okay. Of course, Cheney, off of X, breaking federal judge blocked a big beautiful bill provision to defund Planned Parenthood. Defunding abortion providers through the reconciliation process allows the Senate to bypass the critical 60-vote threshold for a simple majority vote, instead capitalizing on Republicans' overall trifecta. While federal funding for abortion is barred by the Hyde Amendment, yes, remember that? Except in cases of rape, incest, and the life of the mother, pro-life opponents argue that no federal funds should be used to prop up any organization that performs abortions. Facts. Planned Parenthood and its affiliates said in a statement that they are grateful to the court acted swiftly to block its unconstitutional law. Yes, it's unconstitutional to attack Planned Parenthood providers and patients, CBS News reported. A White House official told the outlet, in response to the ruling, the Trump administration is ending its forced use of federal taxpayer dollars to fund or promote elective abortion, a common sense position that has overwhelming majority of Americans agree with. Mike Lee. A judge has just issued a temporary restraining order halting the implementation of an ambiguous statute duly enacted by Congress and signed into law by the president that defunds Planned Parenthood. Pro-life advocates and conservative lawmakers quickly reacted to the order as well, calling it an abuse of judicial power. Facts. Unless I'm missing something, this is an abuse of judicial power, Senator Mike Lee out of Utah said on X. And unless there is more to the story here, I suspect the House Judiciary Committee will consider articles of impeachment, he added. Yes, because that's what Democrats do. Representative Mary Miller. An unelected judge has no authority to override the will of 77 million Americans. No, and more like 100 million Americans who voted for Trump, who voted to defund Planned Parenthood. Last time I checked, The Constitution gives Congress, not activist judges, the power of the purse. This abuse of power must be stopped. Lila Rose of, I'm sorry, she's of, oh my gosh, I forgot her organization. Live Action? I think, yes, it's Live Action, my bad. A federal judge in Massachusetts just blocked the Big Beautiful Bill provision that funded Planned Parenthood, unjust judicial activism that should be immediately overruled by higher courts. And more than likely, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. A federal judge in Massachusetts just blocked the Big Beautiful Bill. Okay, that was Live Action President Lila Rose. I just said that. Last month, the Supreme Court separately ruled that South Carolina could block Parenthood parenting from receiving Medicaid funds, finding that Planned Parenthood could not sue the state under civil rights law. My thoughts. Well, not surprising. Just like I said moments ago, it's going to go to SCOTUS. It's going to go to Supreme Court. It's going to be a 5-4 ruling in favor of Trump and the administration. The fact of the matter is that no unelected judge, supersedes, or has more power than Congress and the presidency, the executive or the legislative branch. But we've seen a trend. This is a growing trend of black robes who have stepped up and try to slap Trump down. And every time Trump gets slapped down, it gets overruled. And this will be no different. So when this judge says, hey, you know what, HHS, yeah, Human Health Services, yeah, you need to, keep cranking out the green and keep flooding Planned Parenthood so that they may continue to fund themselves and to continue the death cults. And if I'm Trump, I guarantee you that they've already been on the phone with Health and Human Services and made it very clear that no, this is going to stop, and it's going to stop now. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this, please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace.